Are you constantly finding yourself in relationships that feel like a power struggle, where one person always seems to be carrying the weight and the other just isn't? Have you ever wondered why some women, intelligent and capable in every other aspect of their lives, consistently attract partners who seem to drain their energy rather than uplift them? It's a question that plagues countless individuals, leading to cycles of frustration, resentment, and ultimately heartbreak. We're not talking about minor disagreements here. We're delving into a fundamental misalignment, a clash of energies and expectations that often leads to both parties feeling deeply unfulfilled. This isn't just about strong or weak as simple labels. It's about the intricate dance of dynamics, the unspoken needs, and the often unconscious patterns that dictate how we connect with others. And here's the twist. It's not always what you think. The prevailing narrative often paints a picture of independent, successful women being intimidating to men, or that weak men are simply not man enough. But those are oversimplifications that miss the core issue. The problem isn't inherent strength or weakness. It's the dynamic created when those perceived qualities meet without conscious effort and understanding. Strong women, by their very nature, are often driven, assertive, and capable problem solvers. They're used to taking charge, making decisions, and achieving their goals. When they enter a relationship, they often bring that same energy, expecting a partner who can meet them at that level, or at least complement their drive. But what often happens is that this very strength, when unchecked or misunderstood, can inadvertently create a vacuum, drawing in partners who are less inclined to step up, less willing to take initiative, or who, perhaps unconsciously, seek someone to lead the way. Wait until you see what happens next when this dynamic is left unaddressed. Consider Sarah, a high-powered executive who built her own company from the ground up. She's brilliant, decisive, and commands respect in the boardroom. Yet, her romantic life has been a series of disappointments. Her partners, though initially charming, invariably fall into a pattern of relying on her for emotional support, financial stability, and even basic decision-making. She finds herself constantly having to prompt, manage, and often forgive. It's exhausting, and she feels a deep loneliness despite being in a relationship. This isn't a unique case. It's a pattern repeated in countless relationships where the strong partner, often a woman, takes on the role of the primary driver, while the weak partner, often a man, settles into a more passive role. The real secret comes at 1:30 when we uncover the root cause of this imbalance. The underlying issue isn't that strong women are fundamentally incompatible with all men, or that men are inherently weak. It's about the interplay of needs and expectations, often unconscious, that shapes the relationship. Strong women often have a high tolerance for responsibility and a deep desire to fix things, to make things better. This can manifest in a relationship as constantly trying to help or guide a partner, even when that help isn't explicitly asked for or truly needed. On the other side, a man who is struggling with his own sense of purpose, confidence, or direction might consciously or unconsciously be drawn to a woman who exudes strength and stability. He might see in her a solution to his own internal struggles, someone who can provide the structure or direction he feels he lacks. But here's the crucial point. This initially appealing dynamic quickly sours when the strong partner feels burdened and the weak partner feels infantilized or inadequate. Don't skip ahead. The game-changing tip comes at 5:30. The first micro-solution to this problem is to understand your own giver and taker tendencies. Are you constantly giving, solving, and leading in your relationships? Or do you find yourself on the receiving end, expecting your partner to take the lead? Take a moment to reflect on your last few interactions in a romantic context. Were you initiating most conversations, planning most dates, or making most decisions? If so, you might be unconsciously creating a dynamic where your partner feels less compelled to step up. Try this now. For the next week, consciously pull back on initiating everything. See what happens. This isn't about being manipulative. It's about observing the natural flow and identifying where the imbalance lies. The results might surprise you. One common trap is the fixer mentality. Strong women, often natural problem solvers, see a challenge and instinctively want to overcome it. When they perceive a weakness in their partner, whether it's a lack of ambition, emotional unavailability, or financial instability, their first instinct is often to try and fix it. They offer advice, provide solutions, and even take on responsibilities that aren't theirs. While this comes from a place of love and care, it ultimately undermines the partner's autonomy and growth. It prevents them from developing their own problem-solving skills and reinforces the idea that they need to be fixed. Comment yes if you've experienced this dynamic. Let's look at a case study. Maria, a successful lawyer, fell in love with David, an artist who struggled to make ends meet. Maria, seeing his talent and potential, tirelessly supported him, financially and emotionally. She paid for his art supplies, helped him network, and even managed his online presence. She believed she was helping him reach his potential. But over time, David became increasingly passive, relying entirely on Maria for everything. He stopped taking initiative, his art suffered, and their relationship became a constant source of stress for Maria. She realized too late that her help had inadvertently stripped him of his own agency. Most people miss step number 3. I'll explain why at 8:45. The second micro-solution involves setting clear boundaries and expectations from the outset. Many relationships falter because these aren't established or they're constantly shifting. For strong women, this means articulating what you need from a partner, not just what you can give. Are you looking for an equal partnership where responsibilities are shared? Do you need a partner who is emotionally present and able to communicate their needs? Be explicit. And for men, it means understanding that strength in a partner doesn't mean you can abdicate your own responsibilities. It means finding ways to contribute equally, even if your contributions look different. Option A, silently resent the imbalance. Option B, openly discuss and renegotiate roles. The latter, while more challenging upfront, leads to far greater long-term satisfaction. A key troubleshooting tip: if you find yourself constantly feeling resentful or drained, it's a clear signal that the dynamic needs adjustment. Don't ignore these feelings. Instead of immediately jumping to conclusions about your partner's character, focus on the pattern of interaction. Ask yourself, what am I enabling here? Or how am I contributing to this dynamic, even unconsciously? This isn't about blame. It's about self-awareness and empowerment. The real secret to reversing this trend comes at 10:15. The third micro-solution is to cultivate an environment of mutual respect and admiration for each other's unique strengths, rather than focusing on perceived weaknesses. Strong women often gravitate towards partners who bring different qualities to the table, and this diversity can be incredibly enriching. However, the problem arises when one partner's strength inadvertently overshadows or devalues the others. Imagine a woman who is a brilliant strategist and a man who excels at emotional intelligence and nurturing. If the woman constantly diminishes the value of emotional labor, or the man never steps up in practical matters, the relationship will suffer. It's about recognizing that different forms of strength are equally valid and necessary for a balanced partnership. Let's revisit Sarah's situation. She started to implement a strategy of conscious delegation. Instead of automatically taking on tasks or making decisions, she would explicitly ask her partner for his input or for him to take the lead on certain responsibilities. Initially, it was awkward. Her partner, accustomed to her taking charge, sometimes hesitated, but Sarah persisted, offering encouragement and celebrating his contributions. Over time, he began to step up, taking more initiative in planning dates, managing household finances, and even offering emotional support when she needed it. It wasn't an overnight fix, but it was a gradual rebalancing of the scales. The crucial shift for strong women is understanding that true strength in a relationship isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about creating space for your partner to rise. It's about setting boundaries that protect your energy and encourage their growth. It's about communicating your needs without resorting to nagging or criticism. And for men, it's about recognizing that a partner's strength isn't a license for passivity. It's an invitation to step into your own power and contribute in meaningful ways. If X happens, e.g., your partner becomes defensive when you try to delegate, do Y instead, e.g., rephrase your request as an invitation for collaboration rather than a demand. The final 10% is about truly transforming your relationship dynamics. First, watch next. Building equal partnerships, communication strategies that work for deeper insights into effective communication and collaboration. This will give you the practical tools to implement the changes we've discussed. Second, save this guide for the step-by-step breakdown of how to identify imbalances and proactively re-establish healthy roles in your relationship. It's a roadmap to a more fulfilling connection. And finally, subscribe for part 2, where I reveal the surprising psychological reasons why some strong women unintentionally sabotage their own relationships and how to break free from these destructive patterns once and for all. This is more than just fixing a problem. It's about building truly powerful, reciprocal, and joyful partnerships.